because today our theme for this day, based on this month, is the freedom found on our pathway of plenty, our journey of joy, and our course of conscious creation. So I just want to know if anybody knows that those lyrics that were in between the song that, of course, we all know, America the Beautiful, we all know that, but many of us maybe have never heard it that way, that medley. So who knows where those lyrics came from? Yes, Beverly. They are on the Statue of Liberty. They are a poem. It was a poem that was written, and years after the Statue of Liberty was actually put up, that plaque, that poem was put on a plaque. So yep, those words appear there. So thank you, choir. Let's give them another hand. And Pam Marita, that was really beautiful. Thank you, Pam. So as we move into the 4th of July holiday, the holiday that we celebrate freedom, today we are going to explore the freedom that comes when we are firmly planted on our pathway of plenty. And being firmly planted on the pathway of plenty means that we are, in fact, living the life that we love living, and we have the ways and the means to do that. Being firmly planted and the freedom that comes from being firmly planted on our journey of joy, of living our purpose, means that we are living in harmony with our divine nature and what it is we came here to do and be. When we have joy when we're living in harmony with that. And the freedom of being firmly planted in creating our course of conscious creation. So being on our course of conscious creation means that we are living life by design rather than by default. So that's where we've been exploring those ideas this month. Today we're going to look at the freedom that occurs when you actually do that, and a final ingredients that will bring us to that freedom. So we've been using as our guides this month these two great books, one very new, hot off the press, and one old and over 100 years old. Although this copy is not 100 years old. It was published 100 years ago. So the first book is May McCarthy, Path to Wealth. The second book is The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles. Of course, they're both talking about living in abundance, financial abundance, and so much more, not just financial abundance, but all those things I've already said, living on purpose, having the ways and means, yes, to live on purpose, and creating our life whatever we want that to look like by design, not by default. That is what these books are about. And I want to just say, those of you who pre-ordered a set, because we're selling the sets for a 15% discount, as of first service, I don't know, maybe it was all taken care of after first service, but as of first service, we still had some sets available that you had pre-ordered. So if you have pre-ordered your books and have not yet gotten them, please get them, because today is the last day to take advantage of the sale, and after today, they will just go on the shelf to be sold. So make sure you get yours if you haven't done that yet. So I want to just very briefly talk about where we've been, so then we can move into today. I always like to back up a little bit. I think it helps us all, and it's especially helpful for those who weren't here for the previous weeks of the month. So we've been talking about having a relationship, creating a deeper relationship with our CSO. And CSO stands for what? And our Chief Spiritual Officer, otherwise known as God, universe, infinite source, energy, the voice that loves me, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't matter. But of creating a relationship with this essence that lives in us, but that sometimes we can completely forget about, that lives in us, to create a really strong partnership in our life with that essence, that energy, that life force. And so we talked about that there are only four things that we need to do in this relationship, and everything else is the CSO's job. So our four things are to get clear about what it is that we desire, to be in alignment with what it is that we desire, to be in gratitude in advance for the manifestation of what it is we desire, and to take the lead from the voice that loves us, from our CSO, and follow whatever guidance we are given. That's what our job is in this world. Everything else is God's job. Everything else. We so much like to get into God's business, don't we? Trying to make it work, figure it out, how am I going to do this? That's all our CSO's job. So we've explored that, and I want to give you a little example. We've also talked about, before I give the example, of having daily meetings with our CSO. I've even given you a 30-day challenge to have a daily meeting with your CSO for 30 days. And we've laid that challenge out on a little, what color is it? Purple. Purple form. There's more in the lobby if you didn't get one and you want to start. It's never too late to start. And if you started and fell off the wagon, it's never too late to get back on the wagon. I believe in divine do-overs all the time. We can always have a divine do-over. So if you started and stopped or haven't started at all and want to take this 30-day challenge to have your daily meetings with your CSO where you do a reading, you can find out what it is. I won't go over that. And then we've talked last Sunday about thinking and acting in a certain way. And thinking and acting like what it is that we desire is already present. Thinking like that and then acting from that place. And I shared with you a passage from The Science of Getting Rich, which I absolutely love. He writes, it's at page 77, by thought, the thing you want is brought to you. By thought, the thing you want is brought to you. So it's here. It's right here. It is by our action that we receive it. So we must do something to receive it. Now here's the example I wanted to give you. One of our online viewers, hi, I'm waving at you because I know you're watching right now. One of our online viewers this week has been having some conversations with Lonnie and called, I think it was on Thursday, because I was home and he wasn't. And so I didn't get to the phone in time, and then I heard who it was, and I'm like, okay, I'll let Lonnie call back. So left a message on the phone, hey Lonnie, I really need to talk to you. So Lonnie got home a couple of hours later. Lonnie, for those of you who don't know, is my beloved husband, the crazy announcement guy, in case you didn't know that. I just shake my head and I said, muttered under my breath, what are we going to do with him? And Autumn says, oh, we're just going to love him. And I'm like, yep, you're right. That's exactly what we're going to do with him. That's exactly what I do. Anyway, sorry, I digress. So by the time Lonnie called our friend in California back, he said, well, I called you because I was in a bit of an upset, in a frustration, because I've been waiting for a significant check. And that would really, when this check comes, it's really going to help us. And the check has been in the mail for quite some time now, and it's not coming. And I called originally because I was frustrated and I needed some support in helping me move through that frustration. So let me just ask, anybody ever been frustrated because, you're doing, and he even said, my wife and I we're listening every Sunday, we're having our CSO meetings, we're doing what we're supposed to do, and that check hasn't come. He said, but since I didn't get a chance to talk to you, I decided maybe I would call a special meeting with the CSO, because we can do this, right? We can have special CSO meetings, not just our daily meeting. So he just sat down and got quiet and said, I'm open for clarity. I'm just open for clarity. And just in a few moments of being open for clarity, an idea popped into his head. And the idea was, take action. Okay, great, thank you so much. Take action. What does that mean? I don't know. Okay, so I don't know what that means. Go back into the quiet. Ask for clarity about what does that mean, and that's what he did. And as soon as he did that, he had a flash. And the flash was that on my wife's desk, there's a pile of what we thought was junk email or junk mail. But maybe I better go look in that pile. And you know the rest of the story. The check was in that pile. Our good must be received by our action. Who knows how long it had been in that pile? Who knows how long it would have stayed in that pile? And he would have stayed frustrated that it hadn't arrived yet, but he decided to have a special CSO meeting, got quiet, got clear, got direction, followed the direction, even questioned it when he didn't understand it, and then got more clarity and did it. So let's give him a hand. Way to go. Yay. A perfect demonstration of what we're talking about this month. So, where are we going to go today? We're going today to the final ingredient that leads to freedom. It leads to freedom, I should say, let me clarify, when we apply it. When we apply it, it leads to freedom by paving the pathway of plenty, by generating the journey of joy, and by clearing the course of conscious creation. When it isn't applied, when we don't apply it, it pollutes the pathway, it junks up the journey, and it clogs the course. All right, now, so I was very excited about that alliteration that I came up with, that, by the way, I worked really hard to come up with. So what? No, too late. No, way too late. Not having that. We're going to do it again. We're going to do it again. And you're going to generate the enthusiasm that I deserve on this. Or maybe just desire, but whichever it is, here we go. So when we apply, I'm going to go the other way around. When we don't apply this, so I'm going to hear some boos and hisses, okay? It pollutes the pathway. It junks up the journey. And it clogs the course. However, when we do apply it, it paves the pathway of plenty. Yeah! It generates the journey of joy. Now that is what I'm talking about. And it clears the course of conscious creation. Amen and hallelujah, brothers and sisters. Praise the Lord. All right, so what is this thing that clears, generates, paves the pathway? Well, Mae McCarthy speaks of it in her book, so if you're reading and reading ahead, you already know. If you've been here for 5 minutes, you already know, because you've heard it before. Just like I said last week, everything I talked about last week, you have heard before. The question always is, are we applying it? Are we doing it? And I just want to take one little tangent, and then I'll get back to this ingredient. But I love Mike Dooley. Many of you are familiar with Mike Dooley. And I've never seen him in person, but I've watched a lot of his videos and listened to him and listened to CDs of his. And he was telling in one of his, I think it was a CD I was listening to, how he does these amazing workshops for thousands of people, and he offers his manifestation tools and techniques. And he does Q&A, and he also has people come up and talk to him after the session is over. So he sometimes has people come up, and he says, I've had this more than once. I've had people come up to me and say, Mike, I've done your sessions before. I've come to you before. You're saying the same thing. I've heard all this before. Don't you have anything new? Don't you have anything deeper? And his response is, no, I don't. I don't have anything new, and there isn't anything deeper, because this is it. You, obviously, since you're asking me this question, just have not been applying what I've been telling you. So go out and apply it, and then see if you want to come back and ask me that question, right? So, my friends, if your little voice wants to go, I know that when I tell you, my question is, and how's it working for you? Are you, to quote Dr. Phil, and are you applying it? So, to lead into it, this is what it says in the Course in Miracles, modified just slightly by me to have it fit for today. Do you want peace? Do you want happiness, a quiet mind, a certainty of purpose, a sense of worth and beauty that transcends the world? Do you want a quietness that cannot be disturbed, a gentleness that can never be hurt, a deep abiding comfort, a flow of abundance and a rest so perfect it can never be upset? Do you want freedom? All this forgiveness offers you. There it is, forgiveness. Our final ingredient, forgiveness. As a spiritual practice done every day, just like you're doing your CSO meetings, every day at the end of the day is what will absolutely open that pathway of good. It will generate your journey of joy and purpose, and it will clear away anything that might stand in the way of your course of conscious creation. Every night before you go to sleep, Mae McCarthy suggests, and she's not the only one to suggest this, but in her great book that we're using as our theme book this month, she suggests that before you go to sleep, you do two things. One of them is to prepare you, to grease the wheel, if you will, for your forgiveness work. And that first thing is to be grateful for the day and all the beauty that you experienced in the day. Take a few moments to be grateful for the day and then move into forgiveness. So this is what she writes. None of these words, although you haven't heard these specific words, the concepts you've heard before, listen to them in a deeper way. She says, forgiveness doesn't mean you absolve the person for their actions or even place yourself in a position to be hurt by them again. Forgiveness means that you recognize that you can choose to not let them or the situation have power over you anymore. Yay. You can choose to let it go and become free. You can choose to be powerful and create a wonderful future for yourself. Forgiveness is a necessary part of making this choice. With forgiveness, you are making room for your CSO to work. Did you hear that? With forgiveness, you are making room for your CSO to work and creating a calm place to receive the direction toward the good that you want, even if you don't necessarily feel like forgiving today. Forgiveness is for your benefit, not for anyone else's. Although I would say, I believe that when we forgive, we not only set ourselves free, we set the others free as well. When we don't forgive a person, an experience, an event, we are owned by that person, experience, or event. That's an important thing. I have to say it again. When we don't forgive a person, experience, or event, we are owned by it. And I don't think any of us want to be owned by that. And I want to give you a demonstration of what that might look like in your life. So Charles, you helped me in first service. He had no idea what I was asking him to do first service, but now you know. Would you come up and help me with this demonstration again? First of all, I have this. So I would just like to comment that you all have much cleaner minds, or at least you are more composed than first service. Because as soon as I brought out this rope, first service started snickering. And it kind of started here, and then it just went over here, and went all through the room. And they were all thinking like, I'm going to do some 50 Shades of Grey something up here. And that is not the truth. I promise you that is not what's going to happen here. So don't even go there. All right. Would you put your sign on, please? Of course. Charles' sign says, he done me wrong. All right. Now, it could be she. It could be she. It could be it. Whatever, it works. But for me, I'm going to say he done me wrong. Would you take that, please?
Yes.
All right. So. Actually, that's actually kind of perfect. Assuming I can get this off later. All right, here we go. So, here I am. I have come to this church for the first time on June, whatever the first Sunday of June was, and I heard about all this CSO business and our meetings, and I like it, and so I'm reading these books, I'm having the meetings, things are, this is good, I like this. Now, don't be pulling on that yet, young man. It's good. What are you doing? You gonna untie it for me too when we're all done? All right. So you're ignore the man behind me for the moment. All right. So I'm doing the work, and yet nothing seems to. All right, nothing seems to be happening. Nothing seems to be happening. I'm moving a little bit. I can't move very much. And I do feel kind of strangled, even though I'm really trying to do this work. So I move. Okay, I can move. Okay, now I'm moving a little bit. No, I can't move very much. Oh, it's you. Oh, it's you back there. No. No. All right. This is what my life is like. I'm not moving forward on my dreams, on my hopes, on my aspirations. Oh my gosh, there he is again. Get away from me. Leave me alone. Forgiveness, dun, 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 comes to the rescue. I choose to forgive. I am set free. I am loosed. I am set free. I am gone. And thank goodness, so is he. Yay! Thank you, Charles. You're so funny. Thank you, my friend. That is how it is, actually. Maybe not in the physical sense, but in an energetic sense, in a spiritual sense, in a sense of our abundant flow of good, we are being tied. We are held back from our good by unforgiveness. So our job, should we choose to accept it, is to forgive. Mae McCarthy writes, "You can think of forgiveness in this way. Anything that may be blocking the communication channel between you and your CSO needs to be removed so that you can recognize the intuitive leads that are being sent to you. If your thoughts are consumed with resentment," and I'll add hurt or anger or upset or whatever other emotions may come along with all that, "it becomes harder for the CSO's messages to get through to direct you to your goals. You can't hear them." There's a great spiritual axiom that says, "Whatever you hold against another, you hold against yourself." By letting go of these resentments, you free up your energy to receive more of the good you deserve. A great way to do this is by saying a forgiveness prayer each night. Of course, our master teacher Jesus said, when he was asked, "How many times should I forgive?" His answer was what? 7 times 70. 7 times 70. I go, that's an odd number. What did he mean by that? Well, first of all, let's just look at symbolically what 7 represents. 7 represents completion. 7 days to create heaven and earth. 7 represents completion, the completion of a cycle, a newness, a rebirth. If we want to have a newness in our life, if we want to complete an old cycle and move into a higher way of being, 70 times 7 simply represents however long it takes is what that means, to complete that so that we can move on into our greater good, into living the life that God planted in our hearts to live, because that's what your dreams and hopes and goals and desires are. They are the divine in you wanting to express itself as you, through you, only as you can do. Nobody else can do it the way you can. So when we forgive, we open up a passageway to do that. So as I said, Mae McCarthy offers a prayer in her book that you might say before you go to sleep at night. I personally love some forgiveness affirmations that I was given by my very first spiritual mentor, who came in the shape and the size and the form of a therapist, but nonetheless, she was my first spiritual mentor. And these affirmations are actually on the CD, the Affirmations for a Prosperous Life CD that you receive when you come here the second or third time. Second time. Thank you, Sandy, for knowing that. Or when you're in our foundations class, you get it as well. And you may think when I say these, wow, that's a lot to remember, but you can memorize this. You absolutely can memorize this. It goes like this. All that has offended me, I forgive. Oh, listen to you guys. Within and without, I forgive. Things past, things present, things future, I forgive. I forgive everything and everybody who could possibly be forgiven. I positively forgive everyone. And I would stop there and insert anybody that comes to your mind right then. Put them right there. And then go on. They are free, and I am free too. All things are cleared up between us now and forever. I dissolve in my own mind any idea that my own can be withheld from me. No person, thing, or event can keep from me that which the universe has for me now. That which seems to have worked against me in the past now helps and supports me in the present. I bless those persons, things, and events that seem to have hurt me. I bless the failures that seem to have burdened me. And I give thanks that a blessing is now coming out of it all. I positively forgive myself. Through this forgiveness, I set myself free to meet my rich good and to share my good with others. You too can memorize that. That's powerful. Say that every night before you go to sleep. And we could talk on and on and on, and on and on and on, and on and on and on about forgiveness. And I have talked on and on and on, given sermons about it. Ministers have given sermons on it. Books have been written on it. And if all we do is read about it or hear about it from here, nothing happens. It has to happen here. It has to be an experience that we have. So I'm wondering, are you up this morning for an experience of forgiveness? Yes, good. 10 of you are. That's fantastic. I'm so excited about that. All right. So if you are up for it, I invite you to close your eyes. And here's the deal about this. I'm going to walk you through a little guided meditation. And there will probably be some emotions that come up. And if they do, I want you to look at them as so healthy and cleansing and healing. And you are in a most amazingly safe space, surrounded by love, surrounded by the infinite love of God, and surrounded by love from that person to your right and your left and in front of you and back of you, whether you know them or not. This is a room, this is a space, this is an energy of love. So, let her rip, baby. This is how it works. I want you now, in your mind's eye, to place yourself, and maybe it's in this room, but maybe it's somewhere else, in a place that you truly do feel so surrounded by the infinite, so surrounded by the universe of good. My place in my mind and in my life that really fills me with that more than any other place is sitting on the bow of a boat in an ocean or on a lake. I don't care where it is. Caribbean's my favorite with that turquoise blue water. So wherever you feel, maybe it's a beautiful field of wildflowers, or you're in the high desert, or you're in a deep, rich green forest. Wherever it is, go there in your mind. And there you are. And you notice in this space, wherever it is, that there's a door. And this door opens. And in walks a person that, for you, I'm going to call it an avatar of love, a divine being of light, a high and holy person, a person of expanded consciousness. It can be anybody. It could be Jesus, Buddha, Gandhi, Mother Teresa, your grandmother. It doesn't matter. Just who is your, I'm going to call it avatar of love. Bring him or her in. And have this person stand about 5 feet or so away from you. And now I'm going to have you bring other people in, and they're going to form a circle. Standing to the left of the person before them. We'll bring in just a few folks. So there your avatar is, your anchor. That's your first person in. The second person or experience or event, you're going to bring in is someone or something that in your heart right now you make the decision, and it is a decision. May McCarthy says you may not even feel like it, you do it anyway. You've said yes to this, so someone or something that you make the decision to forgive walks in right now and stands just a couple of feet away on the left from your avatar number 1. And you just let that person or event be there. And then through that door walks a second avatar of love, someone else who represents to you absolute unconditional love, divine guidance, higher consciousness, illumination. Bring that person in and have him or her stand to the left by a few feet. And then come in another person from that door, thing or event that you today are willing and ready to forgive. Make the decision. Bring that person or event in to stand a foot or so away from avatar 2. You're making a circle. And now a third avatar walks in, a third person who represents divine love to you, and have him or her stand, making this circle, which is almost now closed. Only room for one more. So at this point, you have avatar, a person or event to forgive. Avatar, a person or event to forgive. Avatar. And the last person to come in the door is actually you. In you come, so there happen to be 2 of you now. One of you in the middle of the circle, and the second one taking that last position. completing the circle. So the you that is in the middle, the you, the consciousness that said yes this morning to being here, that said yes to doing this exercise, that says yes to living fully and freely on purpose and in joy, and in having all the means to live the life that you deserve and desire. That person in the center turns to avatar number 1 and walks up close to it. Walk up close, take his or her hands if you want, whatever works for you. But have that person look in your eyes, and you look back. And I just want you to see the love that is coming at you. And not only see it in your avatar's eyes, but feel it wash over you. Choir sings a great song, I let the love wash over me. So just let that love wash over you right now and fill your very beingness with love. And in that love is strength, and in that love is courage. And in that love is a desire to live in greater oneness and to live on purpose. And so fortified with this love and this desire, you walk just a couple of steps to your right, and you come face to face with the first person or event that you brought into this circle that you today are deciding to forgive. And it is okay if emotions occur. Let it be okay. You are loved here. And so you look at that person or event now, and I want you even to notice if you see it only slightly differently. Perhaps with greater understanding. Perhaps with some compassion in your heart. But I want you to look and simply say to them, I fully and freely forgive you. I loose and let you go quickly to your highest good. And then you take another step to your right. And there is your avatar number 2, looking at you with deep love and such respect for the work that you just did. And so let yourself be filled again, buoyed with this love, divine appreciation. And take that energy and move to your right again. And come face to face with the second person or event or experience that you called in that circle this morning, that you said, yes, I am ready to make the decision to forgive. And so do that right now. I fully and freely forgive you. I loose you and let you go, quickly and in peace, to your good. Beautiful work. You step around the circle now, one more step to the right, and you come in contact with your third avatar who is just glowing at you, glowing with respect and adoration and love, filling you with divine light and energy, absolutely empowering you to take that final step to the right and to look at yourself. And all those things that you have labeled flaws and all those things you have done in the past that you are still holding on to, regretting, beating yourself up about. I want the you in the center to look at that you right now with eyes of love and compassion. Look at yourself the same way you were looked at by your avatars. And simply say to this aspect of you, I fully and freely forgive you. I fully and freely forgive you. And move one more time, finally to your right again, to avatar number 1. Just take in the love again. And as you're taking in that love, person or experience or event number 1, person, experience, or event number 2, and that you that was in this circle just all dissolve. They dissolve into the nothingness from which they came. You are completely released. They are completely released. And you are set free. And your avatars now gather around you in a tighter circle. They gather around you in a tighter circle. And they celebrate you. They celebrate this newness that is you. They celebrate the strength that is you. They, in fact, lift you up over their heads and rejoice in who you are. And you feel a new sense of freedom, a new sense of awakening, a new sense of being ready to really move on that path forward. And as they put you down and place you firmly on the ground, you know that you are here on purpose, that you are here to live a life of joy, of freedom, and most of all, a life of love. And now you know that it is yours not only to have for yourself, but to spread to the world. And so in this moment, you come back into this room re-energized, reinvigorated, to be the love that you are, to make the decision to share that love, and to receive the blessings of the universe. And for this, we say thank you, thank you, thank you, CSO. And we call it good. And so it is.